Yo, what's good, everybody? 5 in the morning. Good morning. Sat Sri Akal, good morning. Um, Originally this episode, man, there's a lot of housekeeping going on. Yo, shout out to everyone that's like kickstarting the project, man. We're at 12,570. I'll get into that, but originally this episode was gonna be about flaming like Desi creators, like all the guys in Surrey, like Parm, Randy, Hours for Midnight, Sangtar, Icky, like AK, Jasleen, all these kind of guys. Like just basically, and it was gonna be ruthless. Like I wasn't gonna hold back at all. Like they would have probably like cut ties with me type shit. But yo, this Akaash thing happened, man. And as somebody who's been like watching Flagrant for so many years, and I talked about Jasleen on one of the earlier episodes, I feel like the thing is like nobody on the internet right now is understanding this issue at all. So I'm like, all right, I gotta talk about this. And so that's what this issue is. I hope you guys enjoyed the last one, man. The last one was like, it was kind of shocking because like it was positive. People loved it, Sikh whatever. Shout out to the homies that jumped on Akaash Singh, Arjun Singh. Check that one out. People have been joining the Discord. Calls are amazing through the Patreon. And on the Patreon, if you guys like that last episode, there's more combos like that. More metaphysics, more deeper stuff. We go into Charitropakyan. And going into Charitropakyan is perfect for this episode because Jasleen is a Punjabi Sikh, not Jatt, which is very key to this story. And I'm going to get into why it's key in the whole caste thing. But this episode will basically break down what is going on here. It's a lens that like no one on the internet truly understands. Academics and like all these other podcasts and all these other randos. I've never heard, but like it's become like such a public issue at this point. But they just don't understand what the fuck is going on here. And so, without further ado, let's get into some things, shall we? So, try to Khalsa Koans, man. Look, like in 1 week, we basically hit the goal, 12,000. We're gonna hit more. I got some guys just waiting on the back end, but if you guys drop $70, you will get the special edition. So the special edition, like this is just like imagine like a mock-up. So the book will be like this big, like this thick, literally like pictures on every page. Like this is just a sample, right? It'll be like a cloth cover. This is not going to be no Rupi Kaur, Humble the Poet type thing, man. Like this is going to be like some insane, like whatever. So it'll be like this, right? I'll be crazy, whatever. It'll come in this box for shipping. And then on top of that, if you get the $70 version right now, it'll also include the acrylic box, which will look something like this. And it'll have a book box. So the book will go into a book box, which will have like a sick ass design on it with like UV foil printing or whatever. And then that will go into a acrylic box that's sequentially numbered like that. We can't like get it like dyed, like lasered in because it looks like it's just too hard to do that for sequential. But it's 100 copies only with the acrylic box. And plus, there'll be a couple of other things on the acrylic box, like a little bit of accents here or there, but it'll be like basically what you're seeing here. It'll be like that kind of thing. So it'll be really dope. So, get your copy, $70. When the full release happens, you won't get like the special edition version. You'll just get like the first edition. But yeah, anyone who basically put some money down, they get that. And again, join the Patreon if you want more conversations like the Sikh Secrets episode. There's more depth of stuff like that. Like we've talked to Kamrup Singh and guys like that, because again, these aren't conversations I want to have publicly, just because I don't think people can handle. Like people in the comments, like they kind of prove why a lot of this good stuff has to go on paywall. And I'll be very honest with you, like eventually, like I'm gonna just stop putting content on YouTube and it's gonna all be on Patreon, so I can actually talk about stuff, like drop names about like certain things and just whatever. So get part of the community now. You also get other perks, benefits. We also give you like right now there's like deals on the merch and whatnot. So yeah, check it out. But without further ado, let's get into the cucking of Akaash Singh, which is just oh brother. All right, so let's start it with this one video. This is, this is what started it, and then I'll get basically comment.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
What I find corny is my preference is not my women. Now, I thought it was I'm not dating my women, period, which is the corniest human being outside of a criminal to me, period.
Akaash only dates brown. Akaash has been with one girl in his life who is his wife.
That's my wife. That's an
So
Indian
this
woman.
is like loyal through and through.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses.
I'm actively trying to have an orgy.
Okay. If that was my girl, she's dropped instantly if a fucking video came out like that, man. It's so bad. And it's because she's a pop yo. This is, so for anyone that doesn't understand this is a caste issue through and through, okay? And I need to get into this caste thing so you guys understand. Jasleen's last name is Chawla. 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 She's not a Jatt. She's a Papan. In the Indian caste system, Pape are known as Kshatris, the warrior class. So let's get a caste hierarchy India. So all right. So Brahmins are the priests at the top, as you can see here. Hold on, maybe there we go. Control. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So Brahmins at the top, the priestly class. Kshatris are the warriors. They're at the second. Vashnu, Vasharites or whatever, merchants, they're third. Shudras fourth. Now within the caste, there's like thousands more castes. This is just the most broadest way to do it. Jats fall in the Shudras, I think. What is the caste of Jat? General caste, a general or forward caste. What the hell, man? Whatever. I think they're basically they're basically at the bottom, man. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Jats basically said, fuck your caste system. We don't even care about it. Like, this whole like caste system is like under Brahmanical order, right? It's the Brahmins at the top and it's their order, it's their hierarchy. Jats don't fall under Brahmanical hierarchy. They basically said, fuck you guys, fuck your caste system. You guys can't affect me. And so that's why Jats are just like on this own other thing. Pape Kshatris, they're in the warrior class. So they're pretty high up. The problem is that over the years, they ended up becoming like a merchant class, even though technically their last name means Kshatris. So like the Sikh gurus, right? So again, Jasleen is a Punjabi Sikh. The Sikh gurus were Kshatris, right? They were Sodhis, Bedis, whatever. And what ended up happening was a lot of Kshatris, a lot of these guys that we consider Pape now, which I think is they're Khatri. That the caste is actually Khatri. We call Pape as like, we say that as to diminish them, which is not great, obviously. And I'm not like for the caste system at all. I think the caste system is single-handedly like one of the biggest destroyers of people, but the caste system is very good at telling you what happens to certain people in your population once the divide happens very greatly. I think there's today Jats that are basically like Pape, that are basically like not the traditional Khatris, but what they are today. So Papa is like the Kshatris. It's a derogatory term for them. And Jats are basically like, I'm a Jat. Jasleen is not a Jat, and she talks about it sometimes on her stories and stuff. She mentions this kind of stuff, and I'll tell you why this matters and goes into the psychology. Like, we're basically breaking this whole thing down in a way no one else is, because no one understands what a Sikh even is, right? No one understands like what the hell is going on here, of why she's basically doing all this. So Jats predominantly have been farmers, or they haven't been tied to the caste system, or they operate outside of it, and they're rural people, okay? They're, peasant village dummies, kind of. I've had enough episodes shitting on them, but it's a fact of the matter. They're kind of idiots. Kshatris, the Pape, ended up becoming very educated and intelligent and moving into the cities, okay? But the problem is that, look at today in the West. That's why I say it's a good mirror. the type of men that move into the cities become very cuckified. They become very feminine. They become very, what's the word I'm looking for here? They basically lose their manliness because, you know, once you're in a city, you don't need to know how to do things. You don't even, like, if you live in a specific city, like New York City, your man doesn't need to know how to, like, build something or drive somewhere or whatever. Like, you have services that do that for your plumbing or for your carpentry or your electrician or whatever. But if you're in a rural town, you don't have access to a lot of these things. You don't have access to all these businesses and or even have the money like that. If you're living in the middle of, I don't know, buttfuck Ohio or something, like, you're gonna have to be very self-dependent. You need to know how to fix these things and how to make these things work, which create a completely different, like, cultural upbringing and a cultural reality. And this is seen throughout human history. And so men that usually go into the cities end up becoming very emasculated in a way. It just becomes part of the process. And so, you know, during 1984, for example, the Jats that were in the Punjab countryside, when the pogroms against Sikhs happened, they weren't affected as hard as the Sikhs in the cities were, the Pape, where these Khatris, these Pape, were basically, like, burned alive in the streets with, like, tires around their head and stuff. It was really, like, fucked up because they didn't have that sense of, like, you know, bandhaness and, like, protection. You know, they didn't have, you know, weapons and stuff. Like, in Sikhi, you're supposed to adorn weapons. You're supposed to, you know, your Second Amendment all the way, man, have a pistol, have a shoddy, whatever. But these people, they did not. And so they got the brunt of it. Like, the city basically betrayed them. And so what happens in a city is, like, you kind of lose a sense of manhood because you're in a safety net. If you look at the ancient, no, it's not ancient, during the Renaissance or during the time of, like, these city-states, Florence, Milan, Venice, or whatever, the people started to flock to the cities for protection. You know, being in the countryside allowed for, like, mercenary groups or armies to basically ransack you, kill you, defile you, take your food, take your livestock, whatever. So being in a city, congregating with people allowed for different kind of safety. Obviously, petty crime and things like this happened in cities, but, you know, there's safety, there's institutions. Let's say you're working as, like, I don't know, a banker or something. You can't be in some random rural town and be working for, like, a crazy bank. You need to be on Wall Street. You need to be in the places where money, capital, where all these things are. And so this just changes your mindset in general. And the reason why is now Pape, the caste that Jasleen is from, they're very money-minded people. They have traded certain levels of sovereignty for money. And obviously, if you aggregate the whole Jat, rural, sovereign, you know, masculine, you know, and it's toxic masculinity as well, of course. If you add that in, it creates something for the Pape. It creates something really bad. And I'm saying that, and I shouldn't. I should be saying Khatris. My bad. But yeah, so these Khatris, like, money. And so, but the thing is, this is not even caste specific, because now here's the crazy part. Like, and this is just, like, on a side note, because I'm not bashing nobody here. I'm just speaking on my observations of, like, a sociological, anthropological study of, like, certain caste groups, right? Certain Jats that end up becoming very educated, moving to the city, they end up becoming like Khatris. You know, they start folding their beards in. They don't really wear their pug. They'll wear caps with their pugs and they'll do stuff like that. It ends up happening because I think it's something about having to, like, amalgamate your personality in cities that doesn't allow that, like, jungi, that warrior-esque aspect. Okay, and so a girl like Jasleen, you'll now notice a lot in these episodes that she, or in this, a lot of this footage, that she's very money-minded. Money does a lot for her. And also, this is just another issue of, like, American Sikhs who become amalgamated so hard that they start losing themselves and their cultural values. And so, now if we go back to this, you best believe her family is feeling crazy levels of jalous and embarrassment behind the scenes right now. They think that, like, this chick, like HK type level stuff right now, bro. Because she's taking out so much jalous of Akaash that it's bad. So this video started, and so I've been now let's get to the story, right? And that whole thing I told you about Caste, we're gonna keep coming back to that. It's a common thread in this video. So I've been following Flagrant and Akaash since late 2015. Okay, I remember seeing Akaash and Wild and Out, and seeing Singh on the back of his name, being like, "Yo, what the hell, yo? There's a Singh on a Wild and Out," because I used to love Wild and Out. And Andrew Schultz was on Brilliant Idiots, and that's how I found out about him. It was especially around the time when Kanye was teasing the life of Pablo, and there was an episode where Charlemagne the God and Andrew talk about the Ultralight Beam, the album. They had Van Layton Jones. I remember late night working at Safeway, stock clerk, and I had my headphones on, listening to that podcast, and be like, wow. And that's what kind of got me into podcasts, those guys. I would have to thank them. And I just love the fact that Andrew was like, this is another thing, like Andrew Schultz used to be the man, bro. Like, he used to debate. If you find, first off, they scrubbed his old episodes, right? Because Charlemagne's on this like, I gotta be healthy and mental health and all this type of stuff. So they scrubbed hundreds of old episodes. And those episodes, you can find them. There's like an episode where Andrew Schultz debates Tariq Nasheed. He debates what's his face, Immortal Technique, and like that was the Andrew that I like loved, man. He was just like raw, and like he would debate, he wouldn't care. Now it's like this laugh track philosophizing on like, oh, like even Shane Gillis makes fun of them on that one episode. Like they're straight like buffoons. But those old episodes are amazing. And so, Akaash, I remember him talking about like, I've only dated an Indian, I'm a virgin, yo, I'm dating this girl now. And there's early episodes where like when they started another podcast on the side, because for Brilliant Idiots, Charlemagne never really tried that hard to get that episode out there. Or not episode, but the pod. He didn't try really hard to like make it bigger than it could have been. Like Flagrant is bigger than Brilliant Idiots, even though Charlemagne had more star power than all those guys combined back then. And that's whatever. But they started a separate podcast called Flagrant 2. It was like a sports podcast. Now it's a comedy one, but it used to be a sports one. They said third guy named Kaz. So it's Akaash, Andrew, and Kaz. And you could see this chick was like unraveling him. There's an episode. Hold up, let's find this episode. There's an episode where Andrew gets into a beef with Akaash's wife. You see, like now people are going back and like,
yes.
Like you just look at the so I remember seeing this episode when it first came out years ago. This is back in like 2018, brother. 2017, 2018, these original episodes. And see, like, look at the comments. YouTube is evil for promoting this video now. Who's here after Akaash's wife is humiliating him? Do you think he will choose his career or wife? This aged nicely. Andrew spotted this years ago and tried to warn his friend. And look, we had a guy in the Discord. We tried to give an intervention because he was dating a demon. He didn't listen. Like, I understand what happens, man. It is what it is. But in this episode, basically, like, Andrew and Akaash get into a little bit of a tiff. Like, Akaash is usually the laugh track for Andrew. Like, Andrew, anything he says, he could even say, like, bud or fart, and Akaash is going to laugh his ass off. He noticed that, like, his girl, they don't show his girl, but there was an altercation Andrew's talking about it. This is back when, like, he was still alt-right Andy as a joke, not, like, literally. Now he kind of is alt-right Andy, but back then he was, like, much more joking and stuff, and he was talking about it. And then you got this sense that Jasleen was bratty. I never got, like, even after all this stuff is coming out, I'm not getting the sense that she's, like promiscuous and a hooer, but she was very bratty. Okay, that was the personality that you really got from her. She's very bratty. And so Andrew and Akaash get into this. Watch this for yourself. Like, I'm basically just gonna sum it up. And Andrew's like, she's so like she's like so bratty. She was in my green room taking control, trying to watch Gilmore Girls, like being so like doesn't care about anybody else's opinions, like what's up. And then they kind of like get into stuff like that over the episode. And Akaash is like, I'm gonna have to deal with this when I get home and whatever. And so what ended up happening was years later, back at the studio they had before this, Andrew Schultz. Actually, that's not what I need to. Fresh and fit flagrant. Sorry for the typing. YouTube should get me anyways. Wow. It didn't. That's how bad my typing is. Fresh and Fit Flagrant. Here we go. This episode. So 3 years ago, they dropped this. This was, I think, 2022. So I remember this episode coming out and it being like a huge like LOL because Akaash is basically like spazzing on these guys and Andrew's playing the good cop and Akaash is straight bad cop. Even Alex Media, he's kind of bad copping on these guys. And this is when they were actually at the peak. Like now they suck, but like this is where they were still at really like at a higher level. Now they obviously suck, but Akaash just goes in on Myron Gaines and Myron just never let it go. Like truly, he never let it go. And so this guy right here on the left, this Arab who pretends to be black, this guy never let it go that Akaash was out for like blood on this pod, like super disrespectful, like saying all types of stuff. And you see it in the beginning of this clip, right? So Myron recently, about 2 weeks ago now, discovers all these clips of Akaash's wife and compiles them and is basically like, you're a simp, you're a cuck, I always knew it, you got fucked, and whatever. So that's basically like the history here. Andrew didn't ever like Jasleen. If you ever see like Andrew going out and having these Thanksgiving dinners, whatever, Jasleen's never there. Akaash and Jasleen are never there because Akaash knows that Andrew doesn't really like Jasleen. That's just like been established if you really can read between the lines. Like Tim Dillon will be in the Hamptons with these guys. Akaash is never there. Like all the boys will go and Andrew Schultz, like Dove, Alex, these guys and Mark, like they'll take vacations together. Akaash and his wife were never there. So clearly, the issue, like Andrew just sees her as such a brat and is like, I can't deal with this. And Akaash has no idea because Akaash has never had pussy. And so this is, again, we're gonna connect this back to Sikhi, brother. We're gonna connect this to the amazing writings of Guru Gobind Singh and Charitropakhyan, the amazing literature of Dasam Granth. That kind of, and because again, she's a chick, right? This is why Akaash doesn't fully understand what the fuck he got into. So let's go and look at this clip, right? So now what ends up happening is Jasleen is a stay-at-home wife, and she starts a podcast called Main Character Pod. So let's look at some of these clips. Besides this one. Okay, so let's go into the next
best life in these white boy frat houses.
I'm actively trying to have an orgy and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you fucking see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband. I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches. Okay, I have 2 butthole stories. So one time I met this guy on Tinder and I made the dumb mistake of letting him sleep over, like not really wanting to fucking hook up. And I like woke up in the morning and like my asshole was a little sore. Oh my God. And I remember that he what kind of porn do you watch when you use a vibrator?
This story is the most like humiliating one, but we'll get into it.
Okay, not gonna lie, I don't watch porn while using a vibrator. What? I just think my imagination is vibration enough. What? I just think of like my own husband while I'm like doing it.
Wait, that's kind of baller, but I could never do that.
Yeah. And so I was
using you and your husband split finances, and I'm gonna be really fucking
honest.
No, like all for that, whatever. This is not our money. Money is my money. And look, have I only made $600 from content creating?
Wow, I went up $100 from last week.
But that's my money. Okay?
I don't know if you watch The Boys, but I love him on The Boys.
I never watched that show, but like he's on my hall pass list.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Chase Crawford, Jacob Elordi, Austin Butler, and who else?
Do you know why I think I have like a good marriage? I think it's because my husband's never here.
Okay, so I've been getting a lot of comments that I'm using my husband for clout, and yeah, that's exactly what it is. No lies were told. I am leveraging the support I have. It's kind of like nepotism, but like through my husband, so like spousal nepotism.
Okay, so a lot is said there. This is crazy. So I feel bad. I feel so bad for this brother. Let's see what the Flagrant 2 Reddit is saying right now. Okay. This is Akash's response to contrary is predicted he'll defend his wife and stay with her. Okay, I'll get into that. So actually, I wanted to read. I'm sorry, man. I need to read what it was said. So the Flagrant 2 Reddit is like going nuts. You know, on the Patreon, I subscribe to the Flagrant Patreon to see what they're talking about. They're not really speaking on it until Akaash comes through, but they won't. There's comments are pretty crazy on everything, and basically, if you've been following some of Jasleen's stuff, you understand she's bratty. So she's not, I don't think, like, some of the stuff for sure, she's not a whore. She's just, like, joking. Some stuff is 100%, like, I think it's just jokes. I will admit that. She has no taste. Of course, she's not a comedian. She's literally a stay-at-home wife that wants to get clout, wants to be famous. But I will put that in the joke category. Then there's, you know, the PDL, the public displays of affection, PDA, I guess. PDL is banned. PDA, public displays of affection, and, you know, when she's like moving her face away, whatever, that's the thing. I can agree with that too. Punjabi household, you know, around her mom, whatever, she might not do that. And Akaash is like very like Gora coded, right? And so, fine. But the one clip that I think is the most damning of them all is this one. Oh,
What's wrong with
Hey, not gonna lie, I don't watch porn.
the porn one. This is the one that completely like tells you what's really happening here. She doesn't respect her husband because her husband can't pleasure her. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji talks about this in Charitra Prakyan. If you can't pleasure a woman, she'll seek pleasure from other places. Very simple, very cut and dry. It is what it is. There's fucking 404 stories in Charitra Prakyan. At least like 50 of them can tell you about like her as a Charitra. And the issue here is that Jasleen, being from a Papa coded family, they value money, right? They value success. And in the wedding episode, so this is another episode, like these are all things you can watch for yourself and you can like make your own thing. So Akaash wedding flagrant. In this episode,
Asshole army. Don't ever.
This episode, they talk about the speeches, and Jasleen's dad was like, when my daughter told me she was marrying a comedian, I was like, yo, what the hell type shit. And then he makes a joke about like I had the Bill Cosby thing had just happened, but in their family they were for sure like, what the hell, this guy's gonna be a comedian, like you need to be like, I know Desi mindset, the Desi mindset, like you need to be with somebody proper, has a real job, who has money, blah blah blah. So she knows that. That's A. B, she's the youngest of 3 sisters. And she's a brat because they treated her. She's like, I was like, there was like, I had 3 moms. So she's the baby to 3 moms. So she's babied. She's bratty. She gets what she wanted because she's so bratty in that regard. Then going to college, she actually does get attention from guys. She also talks about another episode. And she's getting attention, so she knows she's hot. She knows she's good looking. Okay? This is all a really bad fucking like formula for a woman. And this right here, where she basically admits on, this doesn't fall under the PDA. This doesn't fall under the it's a joke. This, like, her reaction is genuinely telling you that she does not get satisfied from the thought of her man Akaash. And there's a lot of other posts. Hold up, let's try to find this now. SoundCloud. Akaash horrible decisions. Fuck, man.
Pulse.
Okay, I think it's this episode.
And it legit. Stop.
Yeah, Akaash and his lovely girlfriend joined Wheezy. If you listen to this episode, they talk about how they got together, how she had a black boyfriend before him. Like, Akaash basically dated no one, and the stories on the pod publicly. Again, I remember years of this stuff and just thinking like, ugh, I can't believe this. Akaash basically said on an episode that like the most he ever did was like dry hump a chick in jeans, something like that. An old episode, I can't find it now, but that's, thank God for the memory, eh? Akaash said like that's the only experience he had. But Jasleen, again, brown values, whatever, she was sucking dick 100%. She had dicks in her mouth, she did all that kind of stuff, and she has 2 butthole stories. One of them literally might be anal because she wanted to save her vagina. Like, people do that kind of stuff. I can't confirm she did any of that, but low key, I know chicks in the community that been like that, you know, so it's not a stretch. And I feel bad for bro here because she basically has said like, this man cannot satisfy me, so my mind thinks of other men. She's constantly thinking of other men. Now, if your woman is like that, either improve your shit or you can't be with a woman like that. It's impossible. Like, your woman is fantasizing, thinking, getting off. Literally, her brain is coming to the idea of getting fucked by other men or watching other men fuck. And this, like, you know, porn brain is this really bad, like, demonic thing for regular guys. Imagine how bad it is for a woman who literally, and even a vibrator, right? Like, if a chick to use a vibrator is basically like destroying the sensitivity in a woman's vagina. So she's doing that, plus her mind is basically getting off to other men to the point where she literally is fantasizing about her co-host's husband. If you were in a fucking group of bande and a guy is like, yo, I wish we could be in an orgy so that I could fuck your girl, you would either throw hands and never talk to that guy ever again. And this is like, as a joke even, like, these are like, these are levels of like charitro I've never even heard of in my life. I listened to a chick podcast, okay? Red Scare. Oh my God. Red Scare podcast, okay? Dasha Nekrasova and Anna Kachian, like, they don't talk about shit like this. Like, they get into like really girly stuff too, for sure. Like, stuff about what am I thinking? Like, they'll talk about like the Met Gala and people's outfits, all that stuff, but they don't do this like whore level behavior thinking. Like, it's actually pretty intellectual, not even gonna lie. You know, I fuck with this podcast pretty heavy. And Jasleen, on the other hand, is so bad that it's like, what the hell is happening? I want to see now what the flagrant thing is saying. Okay. I went to the 7 p.m. show last night and it was extremely awkward. He was clearly not processing the situation well and he ended the set 20 minutes early. I only found out about his wife the day of the show, and honestly, after seeing that set basically be his therapy moment about it, I'm way more suspicious of controversy than before. This is clearly something he's insecure about, even though he tried way too hard to make it seem like he wasn't. He spent the first 10-15 minutes of the set talking about the controversy, how his wife has been loyal to him, and everything she has been saying is just jokes and is fine with him. No one in the crowd knew how to take this information, and I truly believe that the majority of fans there had no idea any of this was going on. This only made him spending like 1/3 of his set on it even more awkward. He then proceeded to jokingly call his wife a whore every time he brought her up, which was just not helping. I think it ruined his whole set and the mood never recovered, which I think is why he ended early. I honestly don't give a fuck about he or his wife's sex life, but if the orgy stuff is really just jokes, then clearly he's not cool with it and hides it, and or she's just not very funny and no one close to her has told her yet. Curious to hear if anyone else went to this set and if he's still in San Francisco till Monday. Listen, this stuff, I know this stuff has gotten back to her parents, and it's causing an issue behind the scenes to the fact that they literally just got sent to fucking India. Like, LOL, they literally were told to go to India and go to Harmandir Sahib and stuff recently. Okay, let's see what people are saying. I'm just saying Akaash knew all these things we were finding out before we found them out. Why would he now divorce her on something he already knew? It makes no sense for him to just up and divorce her just because we found out. He been knowing. He's a weasel for standing for this BS. Listen, on the conclusion of like there's just so many clips about this stuff, and I think that one porn clip is the most like elucidating of all of them. It basically tells you how bad things are in her mind. And also, like, I was just thinking of like a synthesizing of, like, you know, she says the thing like, oh, why does our marriage work? Because he's never here. Like, where does that in your mind come from? Like, you have to think about something like that, right? You have to basically, like, your brain needs to like connect those thoughts somehow. You need to think like, oh, it's because he's never here, or like, these things need to come from somewhere.
You know, another thing I do sometimes when my wife is upset at me, I will start smiling at her. I know.
Like, even the fact that he in that episode where he goes on her pod, he's basically like, yo, she treats me like shit on my birthday. She doesn't cook or clean. She's refusing to have a child. She's 31 years old because she's afraid that like her PCOS is going to start acting up and stuff like that. Like, You're 41. Even if your baby was born today, you would be 51 years old once your kid's 10. Like, what is your life, dog, at this point? What am I looking for right now? Oh, yeah, her main character pod. The funniest thing here is that her pod has less subscribers than me. 71 videos, hella shorts, whatever. And people are just looking at these episodes to see what the hell that they're talking about. To see the Gund porn. And the Gund is pretty deep on this. And people on the let's see what he's saying here.
Have any tools, our fights would get crazy. Like, I am special. It was like turbulent households for both of us. We don't need to get too personal, but yeah, it's turbulent. So we didn't have any tools. Our fights would get crazy. Like, I am very calm with her until I'm not, and then it's hard for me to cap the end.
0 to 100 in a second.
0 to 100.
0 to 0 for 10 days, and then
she never felt unsafe like I would hit her.
Sure.
But like, I like hit myself a couple of times like a fucking maniac, and like, that's not going to make you feel safe either.
No.
So it was a lot of
has to hit himself is hilarious.
Therapy. As soon as we got together, I'd been thinking about therapy for a while, and I realized I love this girl, and I don't even think I knew how much until therapy.
This is the other thing. He loves her more than she loves him. Instantly, you can't be in a relationship like that. You can't be in a relationship. I've seen so many relationships end where the man loves the woman more, and the woman just, I'll play with this little doggy. I'll play with this little doggy. It creates such a bad imbalance within the relationship that you can't recover. It's not possible to recover from, because she's going to just she can do no wrong in your eyes. And he's basically proving that. Listen, I don't know much about Fresh. I've seen their stuff every now and then. I don't know if they actually say good. They just go like simps to pimps or whatever. They have a lot of bad advice, and they get like scammed by hoes and stuff, because especially like these like escorts and stuff, like they know how to play these idiots like really hardcore. But when you're trying to love, like have a real relationship, Akaash is a perfect example. I said this in the Khalsa and Sex episode. You need to have bodies before you need to know how women truly are. Otherwise, you get into this. What is this? This is so goddamn bad, man. This is embarrassing.
But like, I was like, yeah, I love this girl. This girl I want to make it work with. I can't let this get in the way. So I started therapy 2016, I think.
Yeah, so think about that. He got into therapy 2016. It's 2025 right now. That's basically like 1-2 years after they got into a relationship. I remember when he proposed to her, whatever, when he found her, like they've been dating now for like 8-9 years. So math is mathing that 1 year into the relationship, they're in therapy. Brother, 1 year in the relationship, your therapy, that's gonzo. Get out.
And then it didn't even really take hold, I feel like, until like 2019. And then 2021, I felt in like, whatever, 2024, 2025, I'm feeling more and more like it's just one of my therapists, a couples therapist we had, said, all therapy is trying to get your emotions into words. A lot of times you get...
Yeah, this is maybe the most candid, like he's admitting truly that the relationship has been cooked. You're telling me like it never worked from jump. You weren't the Jatt type of banda that she wanted. Now this is another thing. Akaash claims his family's from Uttarakhand, something like that. But the thing is, it doesn't make sense here because he has green eyes. For somebody in Uttarakhand doesn't really make sense to me. I could be totally wrong. His last name is Singh, which either would put him as Rajput, or somebody in his lineage took Amrit, changed their last name from a lower caste name to Singh to better get farther in society, and then moved to Uttarakhand. And then somebody else in their lineage basically like, we're not doing this Khalsa shit no more. That is my kind of theory on this, because otherwise he has to be Rajput, which then he would be coming from Rajasthan, but he's not. So something is off there with that last name as well. And I think Jasleen is totally clued in on the fact that she can play with this guy. All right, let's see what other people are saying. You can tell, I just saw the Patreon episode. It's over for Akaash. They put it in here. You can see it. You can tell the crew got a separate group chat without him in there. They were shitting on him constantly in the episode and censored all of it. They know they can't say shit publicly because it'll make a big tooth mad. That's obviously Jasleen. And Akaash is too much of a beta cuck to fight back at home. She'll probably has him on lockdown and watching all his text/calls, whatever. Okay. He's in a like lose-lose situation right now. Like 100%. He is in a situation where if he divorces her, it shows that like it got to him. He's 41. He has to start from scratch. Like it's he has to stay with her, and then the relationship is this forever. Like I hate my wife. She's a battle axe. Whatever. Okay, let's see. Red Pill was dying, and for Akaash's wife to unite the whole world to revive the movement is absolutely diabolical work. Yeah, I mean the fact it's taken over the internet to such a large extent.
Would you say
that it's not even possible? It's not even possible that like
15. I was 22.
It is so insane that this one thing between Akaash and Jasleen is this is the defining moment that made Akaash the most popular, famous he's ever been. That is hard, man. That is to sleep at night knowing that the entire internet thinks you're a joke. United with even the feminists are like this. We don't claim this chick. Is oh my god, man. Fuck, man. That's just so damn sad, man. I think they show the Patreon episode.
You know what I get irrationally?
Like when you're like
name you bitch.
She constantly just puts him down.
He's sick. He's a single dad. He's sick. He's a single dad.
Is he tall?
5'10".
Tall enough for Indian guys. Tall matters.
This is her from Indian matchmaking. She was in there.
I'm the one that helped.
Hold on, I'm trying to find. Oh yeah, this is the. Oh no, this is not the one.
I don't even know what a hymen is.
Like, listen to this.
Yeah, I bet my wife's is still pristine.
See, the thing is, you can't hide behind the shield, and comedians have been doing this. That like everything is just a joke. You know, like she's clearly coming out and using the truth and making a joke out of it. That's the difference here, right? They're not making a joke that's like bullshit. They're taking truth bombs and then they're coding it with a joke, but it's truth. Let's see, like right now they're in India, and like the only thing, like listen to this. I think she literally will be like money turns her on. Straight again, Papa coded.
My husband has always like encouraged me, been there for me, believed in me, supported in me. And when I was able to quit my job, he was like the first one to, dude, there is no better feeling than, baby, just quit your job.
Oh, God.
Like, just quit.
The greatest
I got
feeling.
you. Like, I could get wet thinking about him saying that again.
I think that.
And I think, like, again, tandem with everything we've heard about, like, she can't literally get off to the thought of, like, she's literally not going to stimulate herself being like, oh, I'm free from work. She's watching porn and watching dudes jackhammer bitches, yo. Like, what the fuck? So clearly, like, that's money. It's just money, financial power. So she got lucky. And let's be also honest here, right? Akaash was poor back in 2015, 2016, but he had some visibility. Him and Andrew Schultz were on shows. Let's see. Akaash Singh, Wild and Out. When was this? Akaash Singh, Wild and Out. Like, this was 11 years ago. Akaash Singh talks Wild and Out stand-up Nick Cannon. So this is from 11 years ago. So, like, he was visible on TV. He was visible. So he just didn't have the bags of money in his pocket, but he was visible enough that, like, again, you can make the argument here that she'll claim like, this is like, yo, this is breaking in, like, wow. She can make the argument that he wasn't rich and she wasn't gold digging, but she was clout chasing. He was on TV. She knew that he had some visibility on TV. Again, she was dating a black guy. And Wild and Out was really popping back then. It was on MTV, I think the main or MTV2. And so she knew that this guy had clout, and then boom, it's perfect to date. And then he ended up also getting rich. Perfect. But he had both of those things going. And she's been basically capitalizing on the fact that she can either get a bag, she can either get bigger diamonds, or she can basically use this guy's name to get, like, richer. Yeah, everyone's basically like, he needs to move on, and otherwise he's fully cooked.
My husband said that we can't buy any more bags because we can't afford it.
Why are you doing this to me? People already are yelling at me.
That's what you said because you said it.
No, I did not.
So when I said, should I sell my bags on the real, and then you...
Like, the thing is, again, this is a joke. It's framed as a joke. But then when Akaash tells you stories of, like, when they went to go get a watch, and then, like, she basically was all like, meh. But then when she got there, she got a watch, then her mood was completely changed. Very materialistic. Again, American Sikhs in general are very materialistic breed of Punjabis. They don't have that fucking, like, yo, yacht, ball out, jungy behavior. Like in Surrey, you have brown dudes that are like, they'll just knock motherfuckers out, bro. It is what it is. And girls love that shit. I talked about it in that Surrey Jack episode really early on, the documentary and stuff, and this guy just fully got cooked. Like, the fact that, again, man, the fact that she's not going up in subscribers, like, you could tell the internet's against her, because if she was really popping and people were really taking her side, her main character pod should have hit like 10,000 subscribers overnight. She has less subscribers than me. All right. And like a Desi literally finally like coming out. I don't have like a amazing like moment or whatever. And it's just not happening for her. How can we help Akaash? Akaash need a reality show. I'm trying to find that episode, the Patreon where they talk about her. So even like academics is talking about this now. It's become like the thing that everyone is talking about.
I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So for context, I went to college from 2011 to 2016. The top like 4 songs when I came back for my sophomore year: Click, Pop That, Bands Make Her Dance, Birthday Cake, the 2 Chainz, Birthday, It's Your Birthday. I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses. I was shopping at Rainbow. I was eating buffalo chicken wraps every day. I was straightening my hair with my French tips. Like, you could not tell me nothing. And I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through. So it's like,
yeah, man, I don't know. Like, it just feels like
create a narrative out of nothing.
It's, that's not Christian.
Special. It's like turbulent households for both of us. We don't need to get too personal, but
yeah, I don't know,
Clothes made
man.
my clothes
This is
The worst day of the year for me is.
yeah. Like,
Oh, I know this. Go.
Tax day.
No.
It's Akash's birthday.
And I feel it because she's being nice to me all day. And by like 10 p.m., I can feel her getting just like, I'm so ready for this to be over.
Why?
It's like I turned back into a pumpkin at 12:01, May 5th, and she's so relieved that she gets to be mean again.
Okay, May the 4th is Akash's birthday. And
May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
Yeah, and every year I dread it because I have to be nice the whole day. And
see, like, are you this like comedically like attuned? Like, we should get you like you should become an actor because you can just be mean like naturally and like say really nasty things. Because then it's like, I just don't buy that this is all jokes and stuff. This just seems very like, this seems real. This seems like the truth. This seems like honest. And again, if you've been following if you watch those Patreon episodes from 2020 to 2022, there's gold in there. Those Patreon episodes, Akaash will reflect so much about like how much of a bitch his wife is. Straight up. He's not holding back at all. And now again, like, if you go into the Sikhi thing, man, like, you need to leave a woman like this. You need to have had experience before going in, because if you love your woman too much, listen, one of my boys said it the best. You should be able to leave your woman like that instantly and not feel a thing. A real banda needs to be able to do that, because you as a banda, like, you just can't be attached so heavy to anything. You should be able to have the extreme level and ability to detach. You as a human, as a man, you're more than a woman. As in, like, you're more than like, oh, I'm her husband. No, you are a man singularly by yourself in this world, figuring out your way. You're not bound by the fact that, like, yo, I'm this person's son, this person's father, this person's brother, this person's son, this person's husband, or whatever. Like, you are alone in this world, and you should be able to detach. And that's advice that I've seen that anyone should have and have the ability to, because then you end up like this. What honest advice can you give this guy? The only honest advice for everyone to be happy is divorce her. She'll take half because you signed no prenups, nothing. So she'll have money. She'll shut the fuck up and she'll be gone. And now you can be free to find a woman who truly cherishes you, loves you, is begging to have your babies, is begging to basically do the things, the nourishment, the love that you need. he's putting up with her because he's attached this thing like, I love her, I love her, I love her. She's my first, she's my first. These arbitrary ideas. But he's not with a woman that truly nourishes him, loves him. Like, listen, if he's basically retired you from your job at this age, and like, I don't know, man. Like, if you, like, this is just shit, man. This is the one I was looking for. They acknowledge it.
Raining and now it's sunny. Like, this
Akaash is in India or Dubai.
A
planned trip. A planned trip that was planned before this madness. Okay, he's there. And obviously we want to talk about what's going on, but we don't feel right talking about without him here. Mm-hmm. So once he's back, we're going to have that conversation. I'm sure that will be spirited.
Listen, Andrew's never liked Jasleen, I'll tell you that right now, because Andrew knows, right? Like, Andrew, he's had, like, a really interesting dating history. Like, he's dated, like, Gorian, like, he was, like, pounding back in university. So, like, now he has a wife. The wife loves him. The wife, like, if you like, contrast you shouldn't be contrasting, comparing, but in this case, let's do it. If you contrast Andrew's wife and Akaash's wife is a full bitch, yo. Like, Andrew's wife is like cooks for him and makes these amazing, like, fucking Michelin star meals, like, amazing mother, cares for Andrew so much that you can just tell, you know, and their love life is actually very beautiful. But on the other hand, like, nobody in the world wants to mirror their relationship like Akaash and Jasleen. If your entire relationship is this constant, like, jokes, like, there's no moment of love, like, on a girl podcast, the main, like, okay, it's not a comedy podcast, okay? Unfiltered girl talk. This is also, like, such whatever. Like, they don't, like, the co-host loves her husband, shows love for her husband, and Jasleen shows love for her husband too, but not her own man. And that's just, like, that's just so bad, man. Like, it's definitely gotten to the point now that I think, like, he the only way to fix this is divorce. Truly, if you were doing therapy from the get-go, from the jump, 1 year into the relationship, like, what is that at that point, man? How is that love, truly? And so this is just, yo, again, like, it's that mindset, bro, that American Sikh, Punjabi, non-Jatt mindset, that, you know, being in the city, all this kind of stuff. Like, I'll tell you this right now, man, if that kind of behavior was known to, like, some of these, like, chicks out here from Surrey and their parents found out, it would just be game over, yo, sending these chicks to India type shit. But she got away with it, and her family raised a horrible daughter, yo. A horrible woman, basically. I'm sorry, yo. Like, I'm not gonna do the talk speech, corporate speech, whatever, but that's rough, man. That's rough. So, you know, Akaash, you've never made me actually laugh on your podcast or your specials, but as just a fellow, like, banda whose, you know, show I've watched for many years and contributed, like, monetarily to, I wish that, like, things just turn out better for you and you can find some freedom, brother, because this is not good. But if you made it this far, try to call us a Koans, man. $70 will basically get you. And listen, some people have been doing rewards at, like, the higher tiers. We have some people that are getting the merch. You get 2 copies of the House of Johal. One would be the special edition. One would just be regular, plus some merch. And then if you do more $1,000, we've had a bunch of people that did more $1,000. Their names are going to be in the beginning as patrons of the book. Listen, I love it, and I love everyone supporting. Like, look, there was a project back in the day that I tried to support, Echoes of Mutiny. This was a project, it was like a Sikh manga. I wonder if yeah, so they did this story about, like, all this stuff. It was kind of cool, and, you know, $15,000 goal, and they only made $3,000. And so behind the scenes, like, we're fine, we're in a good position. But, you know, support the book. Again, it'll be something like this, what you see here. Join the Patreon, you get more episodes. You also get access to Discord at the $7 level. Yeah, I mean, God bless, love you all. Just, yeah. Listen, if you need any dating advice, come to your boy E. Like, I'll definitely help. But, all right, other than that, peace.